You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Hey, Queens Podcast listeners. This is Ariel Nissenblatt of Earbuds Podcast Collective, here to let you know before you jump into this episode that Katy and Nathan will be using explicit language. If you don't want to hear the unpredictable things that may fly out of their mouths, or you're listening with children, now's your time to pause the podcast and come back later. In the meantime, you can go check out my history podcast recommendation newsletter by going to Substack and searching for Earbuds History Podcasts. Whether you choose to listen to this episode of Queen's Podcast now or later, I hope you enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Katy.
And this is Nathan.
And you're listening to Queen's Podcast, the show about women in history.
Hello, Nathan.
Katy, how have you been?
I'm doing well, and I just got back from a trip to South America, to Brazil.
Maybe that has something to do with this
Yes.
episode. I don't know.
We went to Rio. My husband had
Ooh.
always wanted to go to Rio de Janeiro, and this was a big birthday for him, and it was a lovely time.
I bet it was just gorgeous. I know Rio is just beautiful.
Oh my gosh. The beaches are insanely gorgeous. We had a great time, but before we went, so I was doing like a little crowdsourcing on our threads. I was like, hey, who's like a Brazilian woman that Queen's Podcast should know more about? And we got like a ton of responses, and a lot of women sounded really interesting. And one was a princess named Princess Isabel, who's
Mhm.
famous for freeing the enslaved people. And so first I looked at her, but then a lot of the comments were like, she's not actually Brazilian, she's Portuguese, and colonizers are problematic. And it like
I
started this whole other, and I was like,
totally get it, because you're looking for someone authentic.
it still sounded interesting, but I was like, maybe not for our first Brazilian person to cover.
No,
And
I agree. And boy, did
then
we pick a doozy.
someone mentioned the person we're going to talk about today, Zuzu Angel. And I was like, okay, well, the name is what caught me at first. 'Cause I was like, that's a
Right?
fun name. That's a fun name to say. So, Nathan, who is she?
Oh, she is Brazilian fashion designer turned political activist after the mysterious disappearance of her son. Honey,
Oh.
she put the fashion in fashion designer for Brazil, and like literally before her, Brazilians just called them designers, and she's the one that got the word fashion added to that. So, and like many artists, when an oppressive government comes along, artists have several things to say about that.
Exactly. She's kind of like if Coco Chanel fought the fascist dictatorship instead of leaning in.
Yes, exactly.
So, Nathan, what are we drinking?
We are drinking the Capria. I can't ever say this word.
Caipirinha.
Caipirinha, which,
Yeah.
okay, girl, it's strong. So what I did is I took a whole lime, you chop it up pretty into eighths, and then you muddle it with 2 teaspoons of sugar, and then you add cachaça to it, and I'm probably butchering all of these pronunciations. And then I decided, why not add something a little extra in there? And it has nothing to do, because yuzu, the rice wine, is obviously from like Korea and has nothing to do with Brazil, but yuzu, Zuzu, it just made sense for me. So I
Okay.
just added a splash of that, literally less than a half an ounce. And boy, howdy, this is a strong drink.
When we were in Brazil, my husband loved the caipirinhas. When I told him that's what you were making for this, he was like, well, can he come over and make them over here?
I
I
love
actually
it.
should have had you come over here because if for our non-Patreon listeners, Nathan does these little Blues Clues videos. You should have come over here to make your Blues Clues video. Steve would have loved that. I liked the Caprinas. Everywhere we went, you could get them made with vodka instead.
Ooh.
You could also get them with sake, which I never tried because that just is too
Okay.
much
Well, I
mixing of.
mean, me adding yuzu and sake, rice
Yeah.
wine, like it. Okay, maybe I'm not too
Yeah.
far off the mark there.
Yeah, on our very first day in Brazil, because it's a long journey there. So we're traveling for a day. And then we got there and like pretty much immediately went to the beach. And I got a caipirinha on the beach and then drank like half of it and fell asleep on the beach. Uh,
Hopefully you were under an umbrella or had
yes,
sunblock
yeah,
on.
like
Okay.
it's really nice for really inexpensive to rent like 2 chairs and an umbrella. And luckily Steve wasn't as he slept more on the plane than I did. So cuz pickpockets are you do have to worry about stuff like that. So luckily he was able to like watch our stuff and make sure I was okay, but I drank half my caipirinha and was out asleep on the beach and he drank the rest of my caipirinha and we had a great time. But before we get into the story, we have a Patreon shout out. Just one today. Shout out to our new Patreon supporter, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
And then also, super duper thank you to our listener, Carolina. I believe she lives in Rio. She helped us with a lot of the research for this episode. She found us some goodies, like some resources that were probably a little harder for us to find because there was not a lot in English on Zuzu Angel. So she helped us find resources that were reputable. And because a lot of them, if you just find and pop them through Google Translate, you're like, okay, is this a good source? So thank you so much for helping us. Thank you to Amy. Thank you to Carolina. Thank you to all of our listeners. And if this is your first episode, welcome.
Welcome. This is going to be a good one.
I think so. Let's get into the life of a Miss Zuzu.
Yes, so Zulicia Gomez de Souza Neto was born on June
Ooh.
5th, 1921. So that makes our gal a Gemini sun and a Gemini moon.
Ooh.
We don't know anything about her rising sign because we don't know like her exact time of birth, but that's some big Gemini energy. So
Fun Gemini, yeah.
social, intellectual, loves to talk through their feelings, but also can come across a little bit blunt, impulsive, and a little two-faced, which I feel like fits.
Yeah, she was born in Carvelo, Brazil, which, just for some context, that's like an 8-hour drive from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, which, y'all, Brazil is massive.
Yeah.
It takes up nearly half of South America.
Yeah.
Like, it is huge.
Huge. And Zuzu's family was pretty normal and more or less what we would just say working class. They weren't
Right.
well off financially by any means, but we've also discussed people on this show with a much, much poorer start in life, like Josephine Baker or Victoria Woodhull sort of thing.
Yeah, not like literal dirt floors
Yeah.
type thing. Like working class, but not rich. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when she was a kid, they moved around quite a bit. First to Belo Horizonte, and then to the Brazilian state Bahia. We aren't really sure what age they ended up there, but I don't think she was like a baby, so maybe like 6 or 7 is
Yeah,
when they ended up in Bahia.
That's where I was guessing, but we do know that when she got there, our little fashionista started to show herself. A lot of her work later in life clearly shows influence from the traditional dress of Bahia and also from the Ceará region, which is really close by.
And if we aren't pronouncing any of these 100% correctly, we are
Super sorry.
super sorry about that. Yeah. But let's kind of help our listeners visualize what these traditional dress look like.
Yeah, I feel
So-
like it helps to mold what her fashion inspirations are. So to me, it's giving 1800s kind of ball gown sort of situation where
Yes.
it's a big skirt, like a huge skirt, but there's lots of like lace cutouts.
Well, what Nathan's talking about is there's a link in the show notes that we're looking at a dress together.
Yeah.
And so
And we'll link it in the show notes just to make sure that y'all can
Yes.
see it.
We're looking at this gorgeous dress that's like traditional Bahian kind of like dress. And it's, yeah, like you were saying, big ruffles, big colors, bright, loud, definitely very nothing about this is understated. Very loud and
Absolutely
yeah.
not. But you
I
can
love
see
it.
some like cultural influences from
Mhm.
like Africa and maybe some of the indigenous influences from the indigenous people,
Mm.
obviously. It's bright colors, layered skirts, head wraps, all the works. And sure, there's some Portuguese inspiration in there because colonization, womp womp.
Yeah. And then also in the show notes, we're looking at some of the embroidery from the Ciara area. And this is kind of like more it's kind of like more simplistic, like almost more like doilies kind
It
of look.
feels very doily, like lacy. It's got this
Yeah.
really intricate patterns that they d it's just gorgeous. I love lace. Lace is one of my
And
favorite things.
I think these two looks together, the loud, bright yellow dress with like the delicate kind of doily embroidery put together is an interesting mix. So I think this is all to say from a young age, she was looking at the fashions and stuff from these two cultures, from the cultures all around, because Brazil is there's lots of different cultures because of colonization and because of the colonizers brought enslaved people over there
Mhm.
and then also a mix with the indigenous cultures as well. There's a lot to draw from
Yeah.
to show the different personalities and cultural dresses and everything.
Yeah, and a lot of Zuzu's early life is like a lot of our women in history, not well documented. So we don't
Yeah.
really know when she started sewing. Everything we found just said that she started sewing at a quote unquote young age. So does that
So
mean
what does that mean?
6 or 7, 10, 12, 14? Who knows? But quote unquote at a young age, she was just casually making cute little outfits for all her little family members.
I love that. Just like cute little after school hobby. Let me just sew grandma a new wardrobe real quick.
Like you do.
Like you do. But her family is like, damn, girl, like, you're really good at this. Like, you should be charging. In fact, like, can I pay you something? Like,
When the cousins are willing to pay, you've got something special here. And that's
right?
when Zuzu starts realizing, oh, wait, this could be a real career path for me. So
Mm-hmm.
she starts really developing her skills as a seamstress.
The skills that'll pay the bills. I love it.
Oh,
So let's switch gears just a little bit and let's talk
oh,
romance.
love is in
'Cause
the air
love
for
is in the
Zuzu.
air.
Again, not a lot of details, but at some point, she meets an American salesman named Norman Angel Jones. And we think his birthday is April 1st, so he would be an Aries. And since we literally know
Okay.
nothing about their marriage, let's do some speculation station on
Speculation
what
station.
we think on this. Aries and a Gemini? Mm,
I
mm.
think they're supposed to be a good match. I see that.
They're
I see
sign twins.
that.
They're sign
There's
twins. So
say more about that.
Sign twins are usually born 2 months apart, basically, more or
Okay.
less.
Oh.
Aries is a fire sign. Gemini is
Mhm.
an air sign. So, what do fire and air do? They help each other. They grow. They
Oh, okay.
get bigger and more spicy. So, good match
They
is what I'm
spread.
getting
They
at.
burn down houses. Okay, okay. Yeah, I feel like when I think of the Aries in my life and I think of the Gemini in my life, I think that they mostly get along. So,
Yeah, they
like,
do.
yeah, I can, yeah, okay, cool. So she meets Norman, and we have good news about Norman. He is only 1 year older than her.
Thank God.
So we are not having any of these like creepy, weird age differences. They get married soon after they meet, and they're young, but they're not like creepy young. She's
Yeah.
like 19 and he's like 20. So no gross, icky marriages.
Yay!
Yay! And it was probably around 1940 or so when they got married.
Yeah, we don't know the exact date, but that's the best guesstimate. And on
Mm-hmm.
January 11th, 1946, she gave birth to her son, Stuart Edgar Angel Jones. So they waited just a little bit to have kids. It's like
Yeah,
6
they
years
waited
or
like
so.
6 years.
And that's
I
great.
wonder how they
Like,
managed that. There's not really birth control
yeah,
back
no.
then. Oh, well, none of my business. Okay. I mean, I guess technically none of this is any of my business, but here we are. But she clearly loved her husband's middle name, Angel. Like if she's, or was it one of those like 2 last name things?
Yeah, it's kind of like a 2 last name thing, but she was like,
Okay.
"Ooh, Angel." And I'm sitting
Angel.
here just imagining and seeing her daydreaming about her brand name, like Zuzu Jones. Ugh, ick.
Ugh.
Zuzu Angel, though. Ooh, I like her. She's
Oh.
giving me some spice.
So, real quick side note about her son Stuart. But actually like it's a side note about all her kids. That so her husband Norman, he's American.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, maybe this will be important later. No spoilers, but this means all her kids that she has with Norman are going to be dual citizenship. American and Brazilian. So maybe that'll be of some kind of relevance later. I don't know. Continue with the story, Nathan.
So our girl's got a growing career. She's
Mm-hmm.
got a man. She's
Mm-hmm.
got herself a little family. And they look around and they're like, look, you're making a name for yourself here, but you can only make so much money just being a seamstress and making clothes for your family. The big bucks, they're in Rio, baby.
Baby. So they pack it all up and move to Rio de Janeiro in 1947. And it is time to start her career. So I think that
And
is a good place to take a quick break, top off our caprinas, and come back and make some money moves. How does that sound?
oh, sounds good to me.
Okay, so picture this. Me in fluorescent lit optometrist office, squinting at frames that make me look like I'm about to file someone's taxes. Glasses shopping used to stress me out, Nathan.
Right? You either pay a fortune or walk out looking like you borrowed your grandma's bifocals.
But then Warby Parker changed all of that.
They seriously did. Warby Parker uses premium materials and designs every frame in-house, so they actually fit your face. No more, do these make me look like I'm in the witness protection program moments.
I found my pair online, but you can also pop into one of their 300 plus stores across the US and Canada. Their stylists are friendly. They'll help you find a shape that makes you look like a hot librarian instead of a sad accountant.
And the prices are actually reasonable. Glasses start at $95. That's with prescription lenses and anti-reflective, scratch-resistant coatings. Plus, if you grab 2 pairs, you save 15%.
Oh, my friends legit stopped me mid-conversation to say, wait, where did you get those? And I was like, Warby Parker, of course.
So whether you need eyeglasses, sunglasses, contacts, or, even an eye exam, they've got you covered.
Head to warbyparker.com/queenspodcast right now to try on any pair virtually.
That's warbyparker.com/queenspodcast. One more time for the tutors in the back row. warbyparker.com/queenspodcast.
As the air turns crisp and the holidays draw near, comfort becomes the best gift of all. And Quince delivers layers that last. We're talking sweaters, outerwear, and everyday essentials that feel luxurious, look timeless, and make holiday dressing and gifting effortless.
My go-to this season has been the Quince cashmere hoodie. I wear it constantly. It's cozy enough for editing days and cute enough for brunch.
I bought this Quince Mongolian cashmere sweater for myself, and it instantly became the
sweater weather sweater. Like, I wear it to record. I wear it to brunch. I think we've shown up, you in your Quince hoodie and me in my Quince Mongolian sweater, to brunch together at the same time. It's our go-to.
And it still looks brand new.
I
That's what I
know.
love about Quince. The quality actually lasts. Honestly, I've been eyeballing their Italian wool coats. The cuts feel designer. The quality rivals the fancy brand names, but without all that fancy brand price tag.
And here's the secret sauce. By working directly with ethical, top-tier factories, Quince skips the middleman and offers prices up to 50% less than similar brands.
Quince has something for everyone on your list, or, for yourself.
So step into the holiday season layers made to feel good, look polished, and last. From Quince.
Go to quince.com/queenspod for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. Yay!
Yeah. That's QUINCE.com/queenspod to get free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/queenspod.
And we're back, and it's time to make those money moves in sunny Rio de Janeiro. Where else would you want to make money?
Where else? But first, babies. She has 2 more kids, both daughters. Hildegard, born in 1949, and Anna Christina was born 1 year later.
So like Irish twins, basically.
Yeah.
And now with all that baby making out of the way, time to build a brand, baby. See what I did there?
See what you did there?
She's now in a much bigger city with way more exposure to a lot more people to work with. And she starts hustling and starts to make a name for herself as a really good seamstress and a creative designer, too. She starts being in demand. She's booked. She's busy. She's working it.
Love it, which is good because she's about to be a single mom.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Things with Norman don't work out, and we don't have any details what happened, like none. After about 20 years of marriage, they get divorced. And it's 1960. Her kids are around like 10, 12, and 13. And suddenly, she is a single mom holding it all down.
And do you think she wanted to change her name back? No.
No.
The way Zuzu Angel just hits right. I mean, it's like spicy Victoria's Secret vibes in my opinion.
It's the Rizzler. It turns the Riz up to 11.
So the Rizzler.
She makes it permanent. Yeah, she's like, she like that.
She ends up taking her husband's middle name and makes it her permanent surname. And now her transition into fashion icon is complete. She's got the talent. She's got the drive. She's got that iconic name.
And at first, she stuck to more like traditional looks, and she was just taking like stylist work, custom orders until the mid 60s when she really found her footing and like her signature style.
She's literally watching the fashion scene. Think Twiggy, the mod dresses, clean lines, all the beige, and she's like, you know what? It's cute, but kind of boring. What if I make it Brazilian?
So what Zuzu does is she takes all those colorful tropical prints of Brazil and she mixes it with like the patterns and garment constructions that were in vogue at the time. And so she is making fashion that felt globally chic, but was like also super unmistakably Brazilian at the same time. And it was a hit. Like it was a really smart move. I just love that mixing together. Oh, this is in vogue, but this is traditional. So I'm taking what I know is popular, but I'm going to be true to myself and my customs.
Yeah, let me put my culture.
Yeah. And the world said, we love it. We'll take
Yeah.
10.
And yeah,
Yes,
right. And
please.
and I feel like it's so hard for our listeners to like visualize some of this. So
Oh,
we're
I'm going
gonna
to be
link
making an
this all in the show
Instagram
notes.
post. I'm definitely also going to be making an Instagram post with a lot of her styles because love.
I know.
And honestly, as the 60s morphed into that late 60s, early 70s bohemian look, so we're going out of mod and we're going more into boho.
Mhm.
That's when that's when I think she really found her sweet spot. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree? Her
Agreed.
That blend of like the traditional dress mixed with the hippie boho look is when she just like skyrocketed. And she put like a little angel logo on all of her clothes somewhere so that it's like, oh, there, it's an angel Zuzu
It's
because it's got
eh,
oh my God, I could look at some of these pieces from her 1970s collection forever. Like I said, I'm going to make an Instagram post and we'll link in the show notes. But Nathan, tell us about this.
so we already said that she brought her Brazilian fashion to the 60s mod look. So she's taking patterns of like tropical birds, flowers, really bright and vibrant colors, and she uses that and ends up landing her first major gig outside of Brazil. That's right. Our girl had her first fashion show in New York City in 1970. She showed at the famous Bergendorf Goodman, and this was the first of what she called her International Dateline collection.
I'm obsessed with her
Bitch.
international Dateline collection, the
Ugh.
first one. Like, these looks are like, I sent you a picture of one. I was like, why aren't we wearing capes anymore? What is this? Why aren't we
I
like,
know, and
what
it's
is
like it's a cape that's on the outside, it just looks like an orange stripe, but whenever you open up the cape,
it's
it's
got
this
that pattern
bright,
inside? Oh my
colorful,
God.
floral pattern. It's eye-catching.
Yes. And after this, that's when she really blows up. And she opens her own store in Ipanema, which is like a ritzy district in Rio. And that's where we stayed whenever we were in.
Oh, cool.
And do you know that song that's like, tall and tan and dun and lovely, the
The
girl
girl from
from
Ipanema, right?
Ipanema? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know. I'd
Yeah.
never paid attention to what that song said before. And so I was like on a tour of the town and somebody was like, oh, like the song, The Girl from Ipanema. And I was like, is that what they're saying in that song?
Oh my God.
But no, her store's not still there or I don't think. But yeah, she opened a store and she is just Zuzu 1970 was her win era. Her line is taken off. She is in high demand in New York, in Rio, wherever she goes. All she does is win, 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 no matter what. And that's the end of the story, guys.
Yeah, she's rich, she's famous, she's thriving. Okay, bye.
Don't Google it. Bye.
Oh,
Follow
oh.
us, and like and subscribe for more. Totally happy history that always ends happily.
Sorry, it's not happy history, everybody. Sadly, this is not where the story ends. Shit's about to take a real dark turn. Actually, we need to hit a little bit of a pause on Zuzu's life altogether because we really do need to go a little bit further into a political rabbit hole. Yay.
Yeah, politics. Can we just talk fashion? Can we just keep talking fashion instead?
I wish. Unfortunately, no, we can't. And if we don't do this political recap, you're gonna get super lost in what's going on in the rest of Zuzu's story.
Politics in Brazil have always been a bit of is a mess. No shade to Brazil because as an American in 2025, who the fuck am I to say anything?
Right. But let's focus on the politics that were happening at the time because Brazil was living under a military dictatorship. Like, literally, that's what they called it in Brazil. The more PC term would have been the Fifth Brazilian Republic, if you want to get technical.
Military dictatorship? Well, that just sounds like fun, Nathan, right?
Not so much.
Oh.
This military dictatorship started on April 1st of 1964, smack dab in the middle of when Zuzu was trying to start her career. So let's do a little TLDR, huge oversimplification of the coup. Coup part 2.
So the sitting president of the time in Brazil was like left-leaning. He was part of the center-left political group called the Brazilian Labor Party. They weren't quite socialist. They weren't not socialist either.
Yeah.
But they drew a lot of their influence from labor unions.
Mhm.
So the party was founded to kind of like serve as like a buffer between unions and communism.
But the guys on the far right hear the word labor and they hear communist and they lose their shit. And guess who else freaks out? The United States of America.
Wait, what the fuck do those jabronis have anything to do with this? Like, what?
Well, this is smack dab in the middle of the Red Scare. And for those that aren't familiar with the Red Scare, let's do some oversimplifying of all of that while we're in the middle of oversimplifying the Brazilian military coup.
Yeah. So, for those that aren't familiar with the Red Scare, here's the very short version. After World War II, Germany got split in two, with the Berlin Wall dividing East and West. Germany had been very, very bad in World War II. And if you can't play nice, you don't get to play at all. So they were grounded.
But then things got tense. The East went communist, the West stayed capitalist. And then bada bing, bada boom, you get the Cold War, which is basically just a decades-long dick-waving contest between the East and the West, from space travel to nuclear weapons to my dad can beat up your dad sort of situation.
It's very much my dad can beat up your dad energy with nukes. Yeah. Yeah. So people in the United States were hysterical that communism is going to like infiltrate their society. So the U.S. funded the far right party in Brazil to oust the sitting president of Brazil because they weren't socialist, but they weren't not socialist either, you know? And the U.S. called this Operation Brother Sam.
Gross.
I know. Fucking, they were basically like, oh, a military coup? Sure. Send the American Air Force to Brazil for it? Like, okay, whatever.
I hate it. I hate it here. I hate it here.
I hate it
And
here.
then things got even more dark-sided. The new regime passes a law that's called the Institutional Act Number 5. It not to be confused with the Mambo Number 5. Less dancey, a little more murdery, you know.
A little bit of torture in my life, a little bit of no free speech tonight. And now that song will be in my head forever.
And this law basically did away with what Katy said, free speech in Brazil. So if you said anything against the government, you got in trouble.
With trumpets.
On a good day, they just tell you to shut the fuck up. And on a bad day, you might just, quote unquote, disappear and get tortured to death.
Ooh,
Fun.
Woohoo! And all this oppressive bullshit, yeah, it's just written into their constitution now. Freedom of speech? Nope. Communism? Nuh-uh. Mm-mm. Nationalism? Yeah, that's our jam. Absolutely.
I'm crying right now.
You're crying? Is that what you said? You're crying right now?
Yeah. Would you like to sing some more Mambo Number 5 for me? That would help.
Yes. A little bit of torture in the dark, a little bit of screaming in the park, a little bit of fear for everyone, a little bit of freedom totally gone. The trumpets!
And that's a great segue for an ad because we just got a musical exit for that one. So thank you
Mambo
for
number 5.
cheering me up from this dumpster fire. Thank you, Katy.
If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no.
At Mint Mobile, no is kind of their whole thing. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS.
I said yes to Mint Mobile because my old phone bill was getting ridiculous. I checked 1 month and literally said, for that price, I should be in the royal family's group chat.
Right? I made the switch too, and my service has been just as good, if not better.
Right?
Mint gives you premium wireless starting at $15 a month with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text, all on the nation's largest 5G network.
I stream, I scroll, I send Nathan pictures of historical memes at 2 a.m. Sorry, not sorry, Nathan. No dropped calls, no random fees. It's perfect.
I use this and you should too. I bought my own phone, kept my number, and didn't have to start fresh. It was the easiest switch ever, and now I'm saving so much money.
Ditch overpriced wireless and those sneaky overages. If you're ready to say yes to saying no, make the switch at mintmobile.com/queens.
That's mintmobile.com/queens.
Okay, disclaimer time.
Upfront payment of $45 required, which is equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plans. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Save that coin and stop paying royal prices for peasant services.
And we're back. And I swear, we didn't go down the Mambo number 5 rabbit hole for nothing. Because there had to be some sort of opposition to all this crazy authoritarian bullshit. And who better than an artist? And in true 60s fashion, the opposition to the government started in colleges and universities. And wouldn't you know, Zuzu's oldest son would have been in college at the time. That's right. Our sweet baby Stuart was saying, no, to this militarized government. I'm sorry. I just had to do a Mad TV reference. Couldn't help myself. It's my bad.
It has been a minute since I've thought about Stuart.
That would be a great costume for you and Steve for Halloween. Just saying.
So Stuart joined the student dissidence of the Guanabara, which is known as the PCB, the Communist Party of Brazil.
Now, quick history detour. You see, there was this guy named Che Guevara, and maybe you've heard of him. Maybe every insufferable guy you knew in college had a shirt with his face on it.
Or a flag in their dorm room with his face on it for some reason.
I remember that.
Okay. So Che Guevara, we mentioned him kind of briefly in our Evita episode, if y'all remember that. He was originally from Argentina, which was also South America was just having some fascism problems around this time. Yeah. So he was a hotshot in the Cuban Revolution. He was a very, very big deal amongst the communist people, to say the least.
Until he wasn't. In Bolivia on October 8th of 1967, he was captured and put in jail and literally executed the next day.
Why waste time?
Yeah, why waste time? Because when you catch the face of a revolution, you don't exactly just let him sit around, knitting scarves for visiting hours.
Exactly. So this group that Zuzu's son was in, they started calling themselves the movement of revolution of October 8th.
Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, does it?
No,
The
we need something
movement of-
snappier.
The movement of the revolution of October.
No, we need something snappier. So they shortened it to MR8, which is much better. Improvement. They got they brought in the
Mr.
marketing
8.
team. Mr. 8. And they modeled themselves after Che's like guerrilla style of revolution. So think armed resistance, underground organizing, all of that. And they took their name after the day he was captured. So Stu is a stewin' in his anger. And he not a fan of the far right.
Yeah. Same.
And he quickly, like, he moves up in the ranks of this group and he becomes like in the leadership of it in 1969. And so he is still living in Rio at this time. I think we don't know for sure, but I think Zuzu more or less knew what he was up to.
Yeah,
know?
she may have seen him in a newspaper for some sort of like protest at the college. And
Yeah.
was she thrilled about it? We really don't know because
Probably not.
honestly, at the time, she was probably making clothes for some of the Brazilian diplomats.
She was busy.
Yeah, we have no idea, but we have to assume that most mothers would probably prefer their kids not be in a dangerous armed resistance, guerrilla warfare situation with a militant government.
Yeah, we have to assume that she was probably like, I mean, you're an adult. I can't control what you do, but I'd rather you not.
Yeah.
But we also don't have any reason to believe that she was like a supporter of fascism.
Yeah.
So she probably supported his underlying cause there.
Yeah, but did she worry for her son?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course she did. Yeah. And since this is 1969, like if you are hearing that he was like going to protest and stuff, and you're picturing peaceful protest on college campuses like you've seen in the hippie movement.
When
like
they put like flowers in the gun barrels or whatever. Yeah.
That's not this.
No.
That's not this.
No. MR8 is a whole nother vibe. And that vibe is crime.
That vibe is crime. Yep.
Most specifically, they're robbing banks, using that money to fight against the military government. You know, just some slight treason.
Just a little bit. And then, as everything else in Zuzu's life is going perfect, the unthinkable happens. On May 14th, 1971, Zuzu's son got kidnapped by the government.
And Zuzu lost her goddamn mind. And that's
she did.
That's putting it mildly. I mean, can you blame her?
No. Because this isn't arrested. It's not like arrested and I know what jail he's in and I know when he'll be on trial and I know after he's on trial what jail he might go to from there. No, this is kidnapped and taken to ...
somewhere.
You know? and will I ever see him again? Is he dead already? Am I ever gonna know? You know, this is not what we think. It's not arrested. It's kidnapped.
Yeah, you have no idea where he is. So Zuzu's focus in life completely changed. The entire trajectory and her career is now focused on, I need to find my son. And luckily, she's got the platform to do it with.
Right.
Or at least, you know, she can raise some major awareness of what the fuck this government is doing to their people. This government and, you know, with the help of the U.S. government, it just turned messy, went to disasterina.
Yes. And remember, her kids are American citizens as well.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got this international platform, and she's got a very loud message that is not only inconvenient for the Brazilian government, but also for the U.S. government. Because y'all put this in place, and this is one of y'all's citizens too, you know? So put a pin in that.
Yeah. And we all know that a tortured artist, OMG, I hate that they have to get tortured, but whenever a tortured artist makes work, it is amazing. Artists are usually pretty good about being able to channel their emotions into a piece of art, and then she gets to like layer in these feelings of anger and sadness. Girl, you're gonna get some artwork that makes a bold statement. Hi, Frida Kahlo.
Yeah, I mean, hello, Frida Kahlo's like entire catalog. Yeah. So Zuzu's designs are still incorporating like like what she's been making before. But now we're also seeing darker tones. We're also seeing she herself also starts dressing like someone in mourning, and it just takes on a whole new message. And so when asked about this next collection that she's working on, which has this completely different tone, she says, 4 months ago, when I began to think about this show, I was inspired by my country's colorful flowers and beautiful birds. And then suddenly this nightmare entered my life, and the flowers lost their color and the birds went crazy, and I produced a collection with a political theme. So she's not mincing words. Like we're not using metaphor here. We are saying exactly what we feel.
But how powerful like this woman feels to be in Brazil at the time and literally be like, man, these people are fucked up. Like, I have to give a round of applause. Like, standing up for yourself.
It takes balls.
Yes, big clit energy.
Absolutely.
And this collection was shown in New York City again. And it was at the home of a Brazilian diplomat. It sent shockwaves through the entire fashion world.
So Zuzu replaced all those pretty images of flowers and birds, and these prints like had war tanks on them, cannons, caged birds, imprisoned boys, gagged angels, like angels with gags in their mouth and stuff. And everything was darker. I mean, it's still beautiful, but now it's just like with a much, much bigger, not bigger message, but just heavier, just a completely different show.
If you look at the actual fashion of it all, it doesn't, like, from a distance, you wouldn't know.
It's still her silhouettes. It's,
yeah.
It's still like
no
her
idea.
style.
But whenever you look closer, and that's my kind of fashion, is like from a distance, you're like, oh, that's gorgeous. And then you get up close to it and you're like, oh my God, this is, whoa, this has affected me sort of situation.
Yeah. They did a movie about her life. I didn't get to watch it. It's like there's not a version that's like dubbed in English, and I read too slow for subtitles sometimes. And so I haven't got to watch it yet, but I know you were saying like in the movie version of her life at this fashion show, she's also handing out pictures of her son's mugshot.
God, I
wish figure out if that
I wish it was
We couldn't
true.
figure out if that was like a dramatization for the movie or if that actually happened. So we don't know.
Wish,
but still, like,
I wish it was like after she does this beautiful collection, she just hands out pictures of her son being kidnapped, and it's just like,
yeah,
ooh, what a boss bitch move.
Yeah, travel to the country of the people who helped fund your oppressive government and literally show them the images of the aftermath of
your oppressive government.
Hey, did you know that your country spent millions of your taxpayer dollars to help my country have an oppressive government?
And steal my son?
And kidnap my son, and he's probably dead now? No. Isn't this fashion pretty? Did you notice it has gagged angels on it? You want to talk about that? Here's pictures of a mugshot of my son. You want to talk about that? Like, she's making people uncomfortable, and people are talking. And I love it. I love it.
I can say this as a fellow Gemini. This is some big Gemini energy. Is it a little two-faced? Sure, sure. Might mind fuck you when they're provoked? Ha! Most definitely.
I love it. And the people in Brazil were cheering for her. They're like, "Yep, get it, girl." Yeah. She even started turning the Americans' heads too. Fashion statements turning into political statements was
Mhm.
a big deal in the 60s and 70s as well. People were like, "Whoa, wait." Because, news traveled slower back then, and especially there
Mhm.
wasn't like the internet and 24 hours news cycle. So Americans weren't necessarily the everyday American wasn't really paying attention to what was going on in Brazil. And so now they're like, "Wait, what's going on? What it's that bad?" And Zuzu is just like she is heads down, laser focused in her just doing her rage fashion moment, and I'm here for it.
Rage fashion.
Rage
Ugh,
fashion.
love it. And the American celebrities eating it up.
Yes.
She designed a gown for Kim Novak of Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. Oh, yeah. And Joan Crawford. No big deal.
Little known.
And, yeah, little known. Whoopie-doo. Crazy lady. Love her. And Liza Minnelli even popped into her store to buy a couple of things too. Like, literally. If Liza walked into my store, I would have to be like, "Welcome and bienvenue, welcome."
Welcome.
How could you not?
How could you not? And all of this from creating an amazing collection to help her work through her pain, because she's still tirelessly searching for a clue. Any clue. Give me something. Where is Stuart? Where is my son? And then Zuzu gets a letter in the mail from a man named Alex Polari.
The letter was dated March 30th of 1975, and in it, Alex says he and Stuart were in MR8 together and that they were both kidnapped by the government. They had been taken to a place called the Galeo Air Force Base, but oh no, y'all. This wasn't a normal prison. This was a torture facility. Ugh.
Oh, and hey, trigger warning. Big old trigger warning here, which I feel like should be implied after we said torture facility. Shit's gonna be heavy for a minute. We're actually not gonna go too deep into the torture because don't wanna. But yeah, maybe skip a couple of minutes and use your imagination to fill in some of the next pieces.
So this letter explained some of the torture the guys went through. One story was that the guards would walk around at night and being like, "Oh, we're gonna pick the hot people first," which, unfortunately for our boy Stuart, this wasn't good news. But side note, okay, hottie.
He was
Like
pretty
he was
pretty
a
cute.
cutie.
He was a cutie, yeah.
Yeah.
Not great for when we torture the hot people first though. Um yeah, so we're not going to dive too much into 1970s Brazilian torture methods, but we do need to talk about how he died to shed some light on how bad the horrible things when oppressive governments take over and we let them torture people, they do whatever the fuck they want and it's really bad. So yeah, but oh my God, so much content warning. Skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. We will not judge you if you
Yeah,
skip
go to
ahead.
that little fast forward button for 30 seconds and
Yep.
click it a couple times.
Click it, click,
Yeah,
click, click,
yeah,
click.
yeah. So they take Stu out of his cell and take him to a patio, and a car's parked in it. And you're like, what? They end up questioning him about this guy from the resistance that they're looking for. And we don't think that Stuart knew anything about it, but even if he did, he's not a fucking snitch.
Yeah, and so he didn't tell him anything, and the Brazilian guards, oh my God, so they forced him to put the exhaust pipe of the car in his mouth. And then they turn the car on. And so, like, force him to ingest the toxic fumes. And that's how they
Oh my
tortured
gosh.
him, and that's how he died.
Yeah, I will link it in the show notes as well, but I was able to find like the actual handwritten letter from this Alex guy talking about it. And I read through the whole thing, but oh, it is just dark.
Mm.
They take him back to his cell, and Stuart is obviously coughing his lungs out.
Yeah.
And Alex said that he heard Stuart saying three different things. The first was water.
Mhm.
Second was I'm going out of my mind. And the third one was I'm going to die. Oh, God.
And then
I
he
mean, he
and then he
did,
did.
but
And then he did. How fucking
ugh.
terrifying is that?
And to say Zuzu was pissed when she read this, understatement.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
sent all of this evidence to Henry Kissinger, the Secretary of State, or the Secretary of State of the United States, and then also to Ted Kennedy, who ended up revealing everything that she sent him on the Senate floor. So everyone is listening now.
Mhm. Yeah, including the Brazilian government. They're like, "Okay. All right, girl."
Oh, whoopsie daisy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this though, because Zuzu's not dumb. She knows very well that she's living in a country that has no freedom of speech, and she's challenging them directly with the country that helped fund that whole revolt, and she's got receipts.
Yeah. And also because of her job, she could probably pretty easily like gone and set herself up somewhere else. She could have taken her receipts and gone to New York and
Yeah,
continued her work there and opened a store there. I'm sure she could have pretty easily set up and gone to work at a fashion house in Paris or something. But if she's doing all
yeah.
of this from outside of Brazil, it's so much less, her work is less impactful, you know?
So instead, she's joining the resistance.
Yeah.
She has to know that she's on the government shit list.
Yeah.
And we have to imagine that when Zuzu was in Brazil, she was being followed around everywhere she went.
Yeah.
Like full on big brother vibes. And she's not dumb. She knew what was going on.
Right. So on April 4th, 1976, Zuzu was driving home from a friend's house. And what exactly happened is murky. The details are,
Hmm.
but we know her car went into a tunnel. And some eyewitnesses say they saw a military Jeep go into the tunnel as well. But who knows? We don't know.
Maybe that military Jeep just ran her off the road. Maybe someone fucked with her brakes on her car. But either way, Zuzu Angel completely loses control of her car and dies. Not suspicious at all. People in
Mm,
Brazil are like,
don't be
oh, that's
suspicious.
totally
Don't
normal.
be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Yeah. Of course, the Brazilian government immediately is like, people die in car crashes all the time, nothing to see here. And it was declared an accident, but everybody in the world was like, I don't know, y'all.
And of course, the rumor mill started rumoring,
Yeah,
and everyone knows that the government did it.
right.
But the government just keeps like sweeping it under the rug. And most of the truth about all of this doesn't come out until way, way after Zuzu's death.
It wasn't until 2014, in fact, that the truth came out. So in 2011, Brazil put together an inquiry called the National Truth Commission, specifically to investigate human rights violations that took place during the dictatorship between 1964 and 1985. And in 2014, they released the final report, which identified over 400 state-sponsored murders, including Zuzu's.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's 21 years. I thought it was going to be more.
I know, but still, like,
Still, I mean, 400 's
everybody
still
in
bad.
Brazil
Yeah.
But everybody in Brazil kind of knew that
Right.
happened,
But
but it was
to
all
for it
kind
to
of
be
hush
like for
hush.
it to be like I mean, it's like closure, it's very gratifying for it to be finally admitted. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This one guy who had been a government agent ended up confessing to a bunch of these crimes during the Brazilian militant regime.
Mhm.
You know, almost 40 years after her death.
Right. Thanks, dude.
he he claimed to have known what happened to Zuzu.
Yeah, he told them that the Brazilian government ordered her death and made it look like a car accident, which I feel like everybody was like, "Yeah, we could have told you that." Like, "Yeah,
Duh,
we know.
shocker.
We know."
There was allegedly a photo at the scene of the crime. They ended up unearthing a photo from the crime scene that had a highly recognizable, high ranking military officer just casually walking around at the scene of her death, but he was in civilian clothing. Like, obviously, they're trying to make sure the job got done,
Yeah.
but incognito mode, trying to look totally innocent.
Right. So this really didn't come to a shock to most Brazilians. They had suspected the government ordered her assassination for years. In fact, the film Zuzu Angel that was created in 2006 even shows the government being responsible for killing her.
Mhm.
So no one needed the government official to confess, but it's good. The truth will set you free. But
Yes, yes.
it definitely silenced skeptics as well.
So that brings us to her legacy. And boy, howdy, there is a lot to unpack for this one.
Yeah.
First off, the tunnel that she was killed next to or in was named after her, which, yay.
Yay.
Uh,
Okay, cool. I mean,
she ended up being a patron of fashion design at a private university, and her son's group, MR8, became a modern day political party in Brazil that is still in effect today called the Brazilian Democratic Movement.
okay. She also inspired tons of Brazilian fashion designers. She stood up
Hmm.
to the Brazilian government and used her art as a platform. She blended Brazilian fashion with popular trends at the time to showcase her country's beauty. And she channeled the rage from her son's disappearance and created one of the most political collections of the time. And she used fashion statements against a military dictatorship. That is so cool.
I know, and she did all of this knowing that she would put a huge target on her
Yeah,
back living in Brazil, but to her, none of that mattered.
right.
She cared more about getting the message out about what happened to her son.
Yeah.
She literally risked her own life and paid the ultimate sacrifice for it. But she brought awareness to this oppressive, militant Brazilian government. So, to all that, we say cheers to
Cheers.
a badass bitch.
I thank you so much for everybody that recommended this topic. She was really interesting. And I don't know, this is why I love doing this show because I don't know that I ever would have learned about her otherwise. So this was so awesome.
I know.
Thank
And I
you.
love going down these rabbit holes, and it was just gorgeous. Thank you for recommending it, Carolina. It was a beautiful, wonderful episode to research.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And we'll catch y'all next time. Cheers, bitches.
Cheers.